So how is it going, Dank Division? Dank Dan here, and of course we got the trailer as well as information in regards to the new map for Warzone. That of course being Vondel. Vondel? I'll call it Vondel just to get through this. So more importantly, we're going to be talking about the points of interest in regards to this little beauty. So as you can see right overhead, we have the entire map, and we're going to be diving into each thing. And what you'll see is as I get to certain areas, I'll zoom in, showcase the area, show some still shots, then zoom out and move on to the next section. So let's dive in, shall we? The first point of interest is going to be in the upper left corner of the map. That, of course, being the castle. Now, this castle is a 13th century World Heritage Site located, well, in the northeastern sector. Now, it's suggested that the central island currently holds a fortified headquarters within, and that they have deeply entrenched themselves within this fortress. Now, those who are able to get into this little beauty will find a completely complex interior with, I don't know, about several bedrooms, chambers, living spaces, hallways connected by passageways, a crypt underneath, and at least one water access point. This fortification is, in all technicality, the tallest structure in the area, though it may not offer the most prominent of sightlines. You should expect light to medium enemy resistance while breaching the interiors of this little beauty. Now, the one thing you will notice at that there are several UAV towers in this location, making it one of the more exposed areas for recon tech. Now, operators should be prepared to encounter at least one or multiple enemy strongholds with a very heightened enemy response. Now, be advised that the main road network only covers the southwest side of the island. Other access points are the bridges leading to the main castle and the dirt roads around it, although entry points via the land are incredibly limited. There are numerous water access points, including the castle's moat. The use of watercraft or the new amphibious vehicle, along with stealth underwater, is definitely recommended. Now, the castle itself is the main hold point for control of this general area. Now, you're going to want to be ready for this because the interior has already been ransacked, and this is a 3-story structure, which includes the dining hall, a kitchen, the master bedroom, the bathrooms, a multi-story foyer, and a multitude of other chambers. So expect incredibly close quarters engagement. You're going to probably want SMG or shotgun while going through here, while the exterior is outfitted with several ascenders that lead to vantage points at the top of the structure where operators can use numerous but incredibly exposed sightlines to other points of interest. Now we're going to zoom right back out, and we're going to now be looking at the university, which is just east of the castle. So, the Rivenberg University pretty much is the main structure of that general area, and is 3 stories, with the primary entrance leading to the reception area. The atrium is an open concept with staircases leading both up and down to the floors, with shops and a 2nd-story courtyard. The courtyard ascender, as well as the other 3 around this building, leads to the top of the university parking structure, which also has a spiral ramp up to the other levels and the green roof. Now, it's worth noting that there is a Rivenberg Art Center, which contains multiple floors of what appears to be a old school artwork, as well as an artist's penthouse with the accessible 3rd floor. There are 2 exteriors ascenders to this living space with views over the city hall, the mall, and back to the university itself. This area also contains a little university village, you know, kind of like how Penn State has their thing. This university has its own village with several small shops, and their maintenance hallways and a staging area for a concert, as well as the gas station behind the art center and a few, floating homes that just happen to be on the river surrounding the island. But be prepared. The atrium provides many opportunities for counterattack. You are going to want to keep your eyes open because enemies will be able to see you from the castle, from the city hall, and the mall. Also keep in mind that the reinforced glass of the university village roof connects to the second floor of the university. Operators should use that, as a nice little flank point if you're trying to go against those who are on higher floors. So, moving on from this, we're looking at the city hall. Yeah. If you're trying to figure out why this looks so beautiful, that's because it's based off of Greek designs. This is a Greek revival building that has not one, not two, not three, but 5 floors, 2 of which are widely accessible, with the main area containing a grand staircase to the building's iconic main room, which has a marble floored foyer with several lion statues and an impressive ceiling. Now, from the meeting rooms to the rear mail room to the central courtyard, there is no shortage of absolute beauty in this area, as well as areas for people to sweep through and kill you. Now, the building's rooftop will serve as a handy vantage point, as operators will be able to access this area via the exterior ascender from the balconies or by navigating the adjacent rooftops. Now, operators who manage to lock down this general area may hold the advantage in most combat situations, because you have the close quarters combat, which you should expect within a general area, and what's better yet is you have the nearby UAV tower, which will cover the town hall, giving you access to pretty much a choke point. Now we move on to the central station. Now, when it comes to the central station, there are access points to this little beauty from numerous ground level doors, as well as the front and side entrances. There's even underground entrances into this beauty. Now, it's worth noting that you're going to want to be cautious when infiltrating the water areas. Now, alternatively, you can have it that the staircases on either the north or south sides can be utilized as a more immediate access point, but keep this in mind. When you're inside the main station, you're going to want to check the ticket plaza, the mezzanine, and the shops for useful items, and just keep your eye open for hostile people, because there's plenty of camping quarters. You also have stationary trains on the platform that are locked in place. These trains are not going anywhere. They are going to, for the time being, be sitting in place. There are 2 walkways over the tracks that lead onto a secondary platform, which has a small underground space. This is kind of a good area for short to mid-range weapons that will pretty much give you a good position on these platforms. Now, northeast of the station is a nice little plaza and a canal that serves as the northern border of this map. The western and southern area are marked by, of course, a red bridge that leads to the mall, a canal-side gas station, a bus depot, a bicycle lockup area, and a few other areas. Now, I did mention the mall, and that's where we're going to put our focus on now. This beauty takes up 2 entire city blocks and consists of an older Baroque revival structure. This thing has an outdoor market of abandoned shops, all connected via a walkway over a bus stop. This is a 2-story building. For those of you who don't remember malls, yeah, most malls were 2 stories. So this thing is easily marked by the outdoor fountain. Both interior floors have a variety of small shops to investigate and hide in, from bookshops to cafes. This area is great for looting useful weapons, but be ready, because let's face it, you're going shop to shop to shop to shop. Odds are you're going to find someone setting a trap and camping in the corner. Now, due to the open nature area though, you may find it more effective in removing people to, again, like I said, set traps. Now, of course, you have another focus that we have, and this one isn't shown on the map. However, I can kinda at least use the images. That would be the Souvenirs District. This is an unmarked POI that comprises of 3 clusters of townhomes that are a majority of the residential structures along the northern area. Now, it's worth noting that most of these buildings will be internally accessible, as well as you will be able to use the fire escapes, the exterior ascenders, and pretty much have access throughout all these areas. Let's just say, if you're looking for a place to kind of traverse and hide all over the place, this is your go-to. Now we move on to the market. Yes, that's right, the new Stargate, which is a billiards hall and bar converted into a medieval outbuilding. This little beauty overlooks the heavily damaged market, which provides almost no cover. Operators are going to want to move quickly through this area because, let's face it, you're exposed and you're probably going to get gunned down if you stay out there too long. This beauty contains a 2-floor interior, a ground floor bar, an upstairs billiard table area with several windows overlooking the surrounding area, and 2 employees only entrances that happen to spire all the way to the roof. Operators can also utilize the scaffolding to climb onto the hall's exterior and provide clear sightlines to the mall and to the river. Now keep in mind that you will be able to also use the canals to the west of the building as a main source of traveling all the way to the university or even the city hall. Now the next thing we're going to be focusing on is the graveyard. Now the graveyard, of course, has a central funeral parlor as well as a crematorium. Yeah, I was going to say, this area has just a nice little 2-floor building and enough roof space that you can pretty much fight forever. Now keep in mind, this isn't exactly your ideal area. You're not going to find the greatest loot, and you're probably going to be expecting a little bit more resistance in this little beauty. Now, if you're looking for ammo, you're looking for weapons, you're looking for a really good place to loot, let's face it, in every battle royale ever, what's the one place that people go to find decent weapons? That, of course, would be the police station. That, of course, being southeast of the market, you have the police station, which has a 5-floor structure that has 2 ascenders. Now inside, the ground floor consists, of course, of the reception area and hallway, and those who move up the stairs, you have the stairs, you have the ladders, you have the interior ascender. In the elevator shaft, you have the rooftop, which offers vantage points over the mall, the market, the museum, the stadium, and even the townhomes to the west. Now keep in mind that the cluster of townhouses west of the police station features rows of mixed-use buildings. Now these rooftops are accessible, as are the abandoned dwellings and storefronts. Those who wish to get here can utilize the canal to engage in, drive-by combat and make things rather interesting if they decide to push towards other areas. Now, this police station and nearby townhouses are really good for fast-moving operators who favor, well, let's say parkour and tactical sprinting to jump without mantling through the rooftops. Just picture you're playing Assassin's Creed at that point. Then, of course, we have the Courtyard, yet another unmarked area. This area consists of luxury apartments and a variety of abandoned flowers all across the area. Operators are recommended to utilize the Courtyard as a central lane, with the rooftops providing a great vantage point for fighting within and around this general area. Now, it's well known that this has several shops and apartments that are accessible with the layouts that support tactical movement for advantage in close quarters. Operators should be able to secure loadout items via ground loot and supply boxes. And let's face it, this area is mission critical for people who want the small squad combat. Now, moving on, we already talked about a police station. This time we actually get the fire department actually gets its own area. Now, this building itself is U-shaped, has a little propane tank that, may or may not be explosive. I'll let you guys be stupid enough to test that out for yourselves. And this building is a fucking fortress. On the one side, you have a helipad with a boat docking area with a radio mast that creates a treacherous but impressive vantage point over the low-lying castle grounds and the graveyard. But you're going to want to keep your eye out for that because, let's face it, snipers will be able to see you. You have north and west of the fire department, you have even more townhouses that are highlighted by, of course, a ribbon mural with stores and a concert stage. Now, be ready because there's plenty of water access points to that, and it makes for a good holding out place, but not the greatest in the world. Then, of course, you have the floating district. Now, the floating district is pretty much comprised of shipping containers, homes, and other living quarters that are pretty much built on steel beams or concrete floats with an intricate wooden walkway connecting these little beauties. Now, this is very interesting because this has a lot of potential for close quarters combat. You're going to probably be recommended to use sidearms and knives because, let's face it, this is very close quarters, a lot of hiding places, and you should be ready for anything. Now we move on to the zoo. Now, keep in mind, a lot of you might be going, "Ooh, are we going to see wildlife?" No. The animals have already been evacuated. The only animals on the map are you. Now, this will be at the southern boundary. You'll have it that you have an animal hospital as well as a savannah hut and an exhibit that you'll be able to travel through. Now, you have the main entrance that also has a restaurant, as well as in the dead center of the zoo you have an aquarium. Now, let's face it, this thing is a 2-story structure where you can actually see a leopard shark along with the sunken ship and other aquatic life within the reinforced tanks. Yeah, you can't shoot them. I know because, well, let's face it, that's what it says in the article. Now, keep in mind that all the zoo's exhibits and overall design allow for a variety of engagement, including hiding and pretty much waiting for your opponent. Then, like any other area, you have the stadium. Now, the stadium is a roughly symmetrical setting with a decent amount of cover. There are going to be large obstacles that you'll be able to use for cover. What exactly am I referring to? I'm referring to the paintball tournament that was set up at that stadium where you have plenty of cover to use. This will create for an interesting match, and I'm hoping that they take the paintball area and actually turn it into a multiplayer map similar to the one that we saw, of course, in Black Ops 2 as well as Black Ops Cold War. Now, we're going to move on to the next one, that of course being the cruise terminal. The cruise terminal has 3 main buildings. There are 2 main gates and a 2-floor interior that includes seating areas, a restaurant, shops, and plenty more. Then, of course, you have the hotel, which is composed of a first-floor lobby, 2 adjacent buildings via staircases on the 2nd floor, a lobby with a billiards table and a wraparound deck on the 3rd floor, and routes leading up to the roof helipad. There is, of course, the elevator shaft with an interior ascender, as well as an exterior ascender on the building's west. Now, connected to the hotel via a deck, which has a lengthy sky bridge over the central stadium, is a food and wine eatery. Outside the ground floor reception area is a main square bar, along with a smaller bar on the 2nd main floor within a red velvet lounge. Now, keep in mind that you will find a waterfront gas station that sits adjacent to this building, as well as an old drawbridge, which is slightly raised so that, water vehicle traffic can have access. Now, keep in mind that maneuvering between these 3 main structures could be pivotal for operators with short or medium range weapons. Snipers should consider going to the rooftops to counter snipe anyone who's at the museum or even the stadium. So I keep mentioning the museum, so let's finally talk about it. The Hay Ring Museum. This is a centuries-old structure featuring 2 formal gardens, a subterranean reservoir, a bar, a concert stage that is set in the flooded crypt, and an escape route to the canals on the north side. This beauty of an area has enough space for an entire vehicle to pass through the museum center. Now the south area contains a little beautiful garden as well as a beautiful courtyard with a chessboard landmark. Now the museum itself is large enough to use mid-range weapons indoors, and its roof one of the highest points on the map. This is an ideal area for scouting ahead, but be aware, because of that catacombs area with all of the water, you're bound to run into all kinds of hell. So where are we going to be talking about next? Then we have the exhibit. This is the second most modern thing in the area, and this houses a collection of modern art and has a main spiral staircase leading up to the sloped roof garden. Now this roof offers a beautiful sniper line to the museum and parts of the central station, but be aware, combat within the various galleries of this exhibit can make things rather intriguing, because the exterior alone has enough open space to use long-range weapons, which will aid in, eliminating foes who happen to be in the canal network nearby, as well as those close enough to the central station. Now, this is where we should probably end the video, because that is your major points of interest. Now, I could talk about how at the end of the trailer for Vondel, they show the logo for the TV show The Boys, but that will be saved for a different video, in which case they talk about how there's a operator by the name of Butch that's being leaked, and I have a feeling I know exactly who they intend to bring in. So with that being said, if you guys enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to drop a like and leave a comment down below, as well as follow us on all of our socials. And you guys have a wonderful day, night, whatever you're doing, do it wholeheartedly. And this is Dank Dan, signing off.
Get them to click that subscribe button, Dick. It's the only way we can figure out the numbers. What do the numbers mean, Dick? We're wasting valuable time.